What's way more dangerous than most people think? Walking downstairs with your hands in your pockets. Never ever do it, especially not drunk. A fall down even 1 or 2 stairs with no hands to catch you can break your neck. I've seen a video of a man tripping and falling down 4 stairs, hitting the top of his head on the wall and dying right there in the stairwell. That is terrifying. Not going to the doctor when something is wrong. You aren't macho for not going. It doesn't make you more of a man, it makes you an idiot. If you live in America and don't have insurance, I'm not talking about you. We all know these people though. I'm not going to no damn doctor. I'm fine. I knew a guy who hadn't been to the doctor in 30 years. 30 years. Always bragged about it, never sick, blah blah blah. One day he goes to the doctor because he loses a ton of weight for no reason in a span of a month. Turns out he has so much cancer in his body that he's a walking miracle. Stomach, colon, lung, and it was in his lymph node. Doctors gave him a prognosis of like 4 months with aggressive treatment. He forgoes the treatment and died in a month. Go to the doctor. Your best chance against cancer is early detection. Hell, that's with everything. If you wait too long, it might be too late to do anything. Mold. It can be poisonous, make you hallucinate, and eating it can seriously mess with your body. Not getting regular checkups. I almost died because I had an internal hemorrhage that was slowly killing me. I was so depleted of iron and blood that the nurses thought my vitals were written in wrong because I should have been dead. I needed 3 pints of blood in 1 sitting. I'm very nervous now since my parents only bring me to hospitals when I feel very sick. We don't have that much for regulars. Being knocked unconscious, lots of popular media makes it seem like a minor thing that an average person can shrug off after a short period. In reality, if you are ever knocked out, then you have suffered brain damage. It's possible there might not be any lasting effects, but it's a serious injury and you 100% need to see a doctor if it ever happens to you. Try not to be unconscious for too long. It's like super bad for you. Anything under tension can be dangerous. Guitar strings hold around 200 pounds of tension. A game of tug of war can put thousands of pounds of tension into a rope. It's even been known to kill people. Here's a list. True story. As a 14-year-old, I played a game of tug of war with a large number of people and the rope snapped and whipped back and hit me, leaving me with 3 fractures in my hands, 3 surgeries and lots of PT later, and I'm happy to report no nerve damage, but I'm never playing that game again. When I used to compete in tug of war in Japan for my local community, I had to wear a helmet. It seemed ridiculous until now. Rescuing a drowning person. Drowning people are completely panicked with one goal, which is to get air immediately, and they will climb on top of people in their blind panic and fear with little to no thought as long as they can keep their head above water. There have been stories of young children drowning their older siblings and parents as the kid climbs on top of their parents' heads and submerges them underwater. Hiking in Arizona heat. Grand Canyon too. You can go down a lot quicker than up. We hiked R2R in the Grand Canyon about 10 years ago, North Cape Ab to Bright Angel. We were stopping to rest at Cottonwood Campground. The next water station was broken and 2 R2R hikers coming the opposite way had to be given saline intravenously at the medical hut. There was no posting about the water being out. Thankfully, with the knowledge that our next planned water source was gone, we were able to load up extra before heading out after our rest. I drank 9 litres of water that day and only peed once. Water currents. Riptides in the ocean and eddy currents in streams. We have some river canyons with signs describing all of the ways you can die in the river, and people still die swimming there. Palm trees. They are so much heavier than they look, and their branches can kind of just fall off without warning. Aussie here, beware a eucalypt on a hot day in the middle of a drought. Eucalypts shed branches when stressed. Usually it's small clusters, but sometimes you'll jump 6 feet to hear a massive crash outside and see a huge motherfucker on the lawn. The amount of times we've almost had one land on our car. So in Australia, even the trees are after your well-being. Towing a stuck car with a chain. There is a list of people who have died from having the chain come through the back window and kill them. If there's only one thing I'll always stress, it's a real tow rope. Endless uses, not that expensive. You'll probably only ever need to buy one. They won't smash your skull in if they break. And put some weight in the middle. A simple jacket will do. That way, in case the rope does snap, shit can still happen, the small weight gives you just enough momentum to send the energy down so it will hit the ground or your legs. Your legs will still shatter, but way better than your ribcage or your face. Well, there's a comforting thought. Bites from other human beings are actually really dangerous due to infection rates. A friend bit me once. I turn into her every full moon. A moose once bit my sister. That is a Monty Python reference. Blocking your nose when you sneeze. Though it's rare, you can damage blood vessels in your eyes and nose, you can rupture your eardrum, and you can even have an aneurysm. Dad sneeze equals healthy sneeze. My husband when he sneezes. Cat bites. Pasteurella multocida. Nasty business. Gotta clean those bites and scratches for sure. A kind of random one, but don't eat uncooked slugs or snails. They can have parasites that will make you paralysed and eventually kill you. An Australian kid died a couple of years ago from it. An awful way to go. I think I'm safe from this one. Newts. Many newts, such as the rough-skinned newt, produce a toxin that is 10 times more potent than cyanide. They are only dangerous if you handle them and don't wash your hands afterwards, or if you eat the newt. There have been multiple reports over the years of someone eating a newt as part of a hazing ritual for a college fraternity and then dying. The toxin that some newts produce can kill you inside of 15 minutes because the toxins block the sodium receptors in your nerves, essentially stopping your brain from communicating with your heart. Scary stuff. TLDR, if you handle a newt, wash your hands and never put a newt in your mouth or you will die. People know that rip currents are dangerous but don't think about them as a real threat often enough. I'm from Florida. My whole entire life I was taught to swim parallel to shore when stuck in a rip current. They teach it in schools. There are commercials about it. The signs say it. You'd think it would be ingrained. But what does my grown ass do the first time I got sucked into a rip current? Panicked my ass off and almost drowned. I got stuck in one as a kid, and I never knew about the parallel swimming. I was alone while it took me, but somehow I instinctively knew I had to swim that way to get out. I ended up around 1 mile from where I was. It is scary as f***. Attempting to change garage door springs without knowing what you're doing can kill you. Same with car springs. I did that once in the shop I worked at when I was young, and my boss was really mad. "You want that spring in your teeth?" he screamed at me. Driving tired, sleepy. This is a good one. I almost got ploughed to death by an SUV once because a lady fell asleep while driving with her 2 small children, took out a sign and came at me on the sidewalk. I had to action dodge behind a tree. She and the kids were all okay, just really shaken up. And I called them an ambulance and hung out until paramedics came to check on everyone. I was pretty shaken up about it myself, really. You don't expect that, especially in the middle of the day. Don't drive tired, kids. Rescuing a drowning person is no joke, and if you yourself are a poor swimmer and or not trained in water rescue, do not attempt rescue. Your safety is top priority. Instead, immediately call emergency services and try to either extend something out for the person to grab onto, like a pool noodle, pool net pole, branch, etc., or throw something that floats at the person for them to grab onto. A life jacket, PFD is the best, but pool noodle, kickboard, floaty, op even cooler, esky lids work. If you are trained in water rescue, then you should already know that if you don't need to get into the water, then don't. Remember, call, reach, extend, throw, row, swim, in that order, and always assess the conditions of the water before going in if you do. If the water is too murky, the current is too strong, there are too many water hazards like logs or rocks, again, don't attempt the rescue. It sounds horrific to think about, but always think of numero uno, and rescue teams would much rather only rescue one person than 2 people. If you do decide to jump in to attempt rescue, then you should always take something that floats with you so you can hand it off to the drownee before they grab onto you.